Hello, welcome back to another episode of Day by Day Podcast. I'm Leslie,
And I'm Diana.
and today is episode 43,
Woo!
and it's a special one.
Halloween.
As you guys can tell by our intro, our intro has changed. Yes, we're starting our Halloweeny season.
Yes, I'm excited.
Girl, I was driving here and I was like, this is our second one. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I'm so excited.
Who said that we wouldn't make it?
I know.
I'm fighting.
But you know what? Before we started recording, I was telling Diana how I'm not fully done with like my research and stuff. I don't know.
We're busy.
We're especially
busy
you,
bees.
girl.
Oh,
We busy gals, but
no.
I promise I'll get it done. But thankfully, I got the ones that we're recording today done.
The ones that mattered for
The
today.
ones that matter for today. I know. I'm like, these are next time's problem.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I was like, I'm loving that the weather's getting like colder. And
Yay.
I just love seeing like all the fall stuff and the smell, like candles. Oh my gosh, I love this.
Speaking of, I have a fall candle that my brother gave me for my birthday.
Uh-huh.
No, for Mother's Day, sorry. And it literally says fall. And I'm like, you know me so well.
Oh,
Mind you, it was for Mother's Day. I was like,
Nice.
I should burn it.
Oh, you should, girl. Oh my gosh.
Get in the spooky spirit.
Get in the spooky. Yeah. It already feels nice because you already have like your little bats in the back.
Oh, I
and
have
stuff.
those bats right
You see?
there.
Oh, those are so cute.
Yeah. So I was telling Leslie that now Spotify, like, they let you upload videos, just in case like you want to see like the actual podcasters. And I was gonna ask you if you ever wanted to do that.
Honestly, for
Yeah.
real.
And if you ever do, I was like, we can use that as a backdrop, porque like esas the
we
bats.
can do it like right here.
Yeah, the bats are purple. They light up purple.
That
Yeah.
is that's such a good idea.
Yeah. It's a
And then
vibe.
I could ask Luigi if we could borrow his like ring light thing.
Yeah.
We can look a little bit more presentable. Ay, no es cierto. I'm just kidding. But
We're good. We're good.
We're good.
We're pretty.
But today we're going to be covering Unsolved Mysteries. And how do you feel about Unsolved Mystery? Like, yeah, how do you feel about them? Like,
I don't know. Like, it's like a love-hate relationship because I love mysteries. I love
Mhm.
mysteries. Like, oh my God, like, why? Like, why is this happening, you know?
mhm,
But then at the same time, I hate it because there's no resolution.
yeah.
And I'm just like, what is the end product?
Yes. I guess I get frustrated in a way because, you know, it's unsolved. It's unfinished.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like listening to them, but sometimes it just depends. I have to be in the mood to feel
Unfulfilled.
unfulfilled, unsatisfied, I guess. But it's so scary. It's just so scary how it's just like kind of like they brush it off after like a certain amount of years, I guess.
Yeah, like cases go cold, or yeah, like they literally basically just give up. And I'm just like, fuck. Like that's
Mhm.
scary. And the sad part is like for like true crime cases, it's sad because for the families that like went years
They just
trying,
Mhm.
yeah, they either leave this world without ever finding like a resolution
Mhm.
and like trying, or it eventually does get solved, but like years down the line.
Yeah. I always think that's very sad. And it's just so sad because, you know, like, again, it can happen to anybody. And it's just like, you know, and I always find it crazy, like those stories that is unsolved for so many years.
Yeah.
And then somehow, like, years later, they resolve them. And like you said, and it's so sad because by then, like, the family members either have passed and stuff. And, you know, like, it's just so sad.
Yeah.
Man.
It is another like example of like unsolved mysteries, and that, to be honest, like that's my second story. Is just like crazy phenomenons that happen, because like a lot of things can be explained, you know,
Mhm.
by like science or by logic, but there are a lot of other stuff that just can't.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
whether it
yes.
be like like the way that people, like the things that people see in dreams, or like certain what's it called? Like certain visions that people see,
Mhm.
or, like even spirits that people see or like experience. Like that's unsolved
Yeah.
technically, because people, like, as much as people like want to chalk it down to, oh, like that's just your subconscious trying to, calm you down or comfort you. Like there's a lot of things that just can't be explained whenever that stuff happens.
Right. Right. So, yeah, with that being said, today we will be covering a few unsolved, um, I guess what stories that it's just so sad. It's just so sad that, especially this one, the one I'm going to talk about. It's just, it was just four teenagers just working,
Yeah.
Have you heard about this case?
Is it in like the fast food?
It's the frozen yogurt shop.
I've briefly heard of it, but I don't know like the specifics.
Yeah. So that's the case I'm going to be covering today. It's about the frozen yogurt shop in Austin, Texas. Yeah. Okay. So this is the case of four teenage girls that were brutally murdered inside a frozen yogurt shop in Austin, Texas on Friday, December 6, 1991. 17-year-old Elisa Thomas and Jennifer Harbison were working the night shift at an I can't believe it's yogurt shop. So it's kind of like, I guess, kind of like Yogurtland and stuff like that. Yeah. The yogurt shop was very busy that night. And at one point, Elisa's mother actually stopped by just to check in on her daughter and make sure everything was fine, if she was okay. And she was. And yeah, her mom left and was just, it's just so sad to think that that was the last time she saw her mom. But around 9:30 p.m., Jennifer's younger sister, Sarah, stopped by with her best friend, Amy. The two girls were planning on having a sleepover that night, so they went to the yogurt shop to wait for Jennifer to get off work so she could bring them back home, like to Sarah's house. That night, the store was set to close at 11 p.m., and the rules was that 15 minutes before closing time, the girls needed to lock the front door. That way, like, nobody else will come in. And that way they'll be able to clean up and start counting the money. So at 10:25 p.m., the girls began cleaning with the help of Sarah and Amy. Around 10:42, the final customers were getting ready to leave the store, and only two men stay sitting on a booth. And so there was these two men, and there was also like a lady, I guess, with her husband. And she did notice that the two men were acting kind of like strange, and they weren't even eating yogurt, like they were just there. And she actually went up to the girls and asked, hey, are you guys gonna be okay, like being alone? Do you want us to stay, like, and then the girls, like, they were just like, oh no, like we're fine, we're closing up soon, we're just cleaning up, I'm pretty sure they're gonna notice and get up and leave. And that's it. That lady just left, but something inside her was like, I should, like, she did not feel right,
Yeah, in situations like that, it's like it doesn't pay off to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
It pays off to be like firm and say, hey, we're closing soon, last call, please, go ahead and go.
And apparently, like, like I said, they weren't even eating like yogurt, they were just there.
Suspicious.
And that's the thing, I would have loved to find out, like, what is she meant by that, like how were they acting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what were they doing? Because of, like, the videos and research that I did find, it was just that. I feel like because they didn't share too much, because también como que they didn't find them guilty, or I don't know.
Yeah, well, not only that, but also, and I'm guilty of this, but like whenever I go to a restaurant or like go to a store, I'm very oblivious to my surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really pay attention much unless something or someone looks suspicious.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were like, enjoying their yogurt, and they didn't realize that it was kind of suspicious until, it was time for them to leave, that they're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Y'all aren't eating.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like it's one of those. I feel like it's right what you said. Like you don't want to be like, hey, like y'all gotta go because
Get up and leave.
get up and leave. Yeah. So next to the frozen shop was the party supply store, and at 11:47 p.m. that night, the owner of the party store realized that there was smoke coming from the yogurt shop. Firefighters immediately arrived to the scene, and as they were going through the building, they came across the nude bodies of the 4 teenage girls. Yeah. All 4 girls were stripped and bound with their own clothing and shot in the head. Police originally believed that this might have been like a robbery gone wrong, but then they realized that the front door was still locked and the money was still in the cashier. Yeah, there was no sign of breaking in, but they did notice that the back door of the yogurt shop was unlocked. But since the building was set on fire, like any potential evidence was pretty much destroyed. Yeah, that's very sad. It was just, Friday night, and it's just like,
I know.
yeah.
And especially since they had like plans. Like, and that's the thing that sucks. It does suck how life can just be taken from you.
Mm-hmm. In a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. 8 days after the murders, police had made an arrest. Teenage Maurice Pierce was seen walking around the mall with a .22 caliber gun, same type of gun used to kill the girls.
Jesus.
I know. So when they arrested him, he immediately called out also 3 other boys. Michael Scott, Robert Springteen, and Forrest Wilburn.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 men were brought down to the station, and of course they denied them having nothing to do with the murders. When they tested the gun, it was not a match. So all 4 men were released. Now, obviously the police were back to square one, and the case went cold until October of 1999, 8 years after the murder. They arrested 4 men again. And the police was already familiar with these 4 men because they were the same ones. They arrested the same guys. The police had no new evidence, but they did have a confession from Michael Scott and Robert Springteen. So I guess they just decided to reopen the case, and they didn't have no new men or anybody. They didn't have nobody new, but they wanted to reopen the case and talk to these 4 men again. So those 2 were kept for over 4 days, and they eventually confessed to killing the girls. Yeah. So they were kept, and they were asking them questions, and obviously after 4 days, they were yes, okay, we did it. Yeah. Forrest and Maurice were taken and questioned, and once they confessed, charges against them were dropped from the other guys, because the other guys didn't confess. The other 2 guys were Maurice and Forrest were questioned, and they never confessed, so obviously they let them go. So the only 2 left were Michael Scott and Robert Springteen. Then 10 years after the murders, in 2001, the trial began. Both of their attorneys tried to argue that their confessions were 100% by force, especially since they were kept for 4 days. Yeah. And I think you could actually find this video on YouTube. In the video footage, yeah, I did find it. I did put my little go on YouTube. You guys can actually see it. You see a detective guy with the weapon, on Michael's head, having him confess, you did it. You're the one that murdered the girls. And in the end, they were both found guilty of murder. Though, it didn't matter they were still found guilty. And a lot of people were like, but they didn't do it, like you guys had no proof. Like it was just like back and forward. And the family of the girls, they really wanted to believe it was them because, you know, like you said,
Yeah, they want closure.
So but however, 5 years after their after they were arrested and guilty, the case was reopened again because a new judge was like, okay, let's reopen this, that something doesn't seem right. And you know what, that's another thing I wonder, how do they decide like which case they're gonna reopen? You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure they have like so many files and it's just like they just randomly like pick, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways, they reopened it, and obviously they, now with the advance of like technology and stuff, they could do DNA tests because on one of the girls they actually found like male sperm and stuff, and obviously they tested it and it wasn't a match. Yeah, so these two men went to jail for a very long time, and for them to not be the ones who did it.
Damn.
Yeah. But obviously they were released after that. It's now been over 30 years and the killer remains on the loose. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It really sucks how some investigators, I'm not gonna say all, but like from a lot of the cases that like we've listened to and watched, it really sucks how they just kind of give up and either don't continue or decide that they're going to like interrogate like certain people to death, basically. Just so they can confess and be like, yep, I solved it. We solved it. It's done. It's the done deal. And then it's, you know, thank God that we can actually test DNA and be like, hey, it's not them.
Yeah.
Because literally before, like back in the days, it was just he said, she said. A lot of the times, like they didn't really have like cameras. They didn't have anything else besides just eyewitnesses and a belief. That's it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I really feel bad for those girls and their families.
I know. It's crazy because like that lady said, it was two men, and obviously a lot of people had hopes that it was these four men. Like they were thinking like maybe it was only two, because they were like, wait, why is there four if they only saw two men? But one of the theories was like those two men let the other two men in through the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pero sorry, that was my phone. But yeah, it just turns out it wasn't, and they just never found those two men that stayed. And yeah, they just never found anything, and it just remains unsolved. And it's just so sad because, you know, they were so young.
Yeah.
They were so young. But yeah.
Speaking of unsolved mysteries, I mean, yeah, that's our entire topic today. And Austin, have you been following the cases of the men that have been found in the lake? Dude,
that's scary.
That's crazy. And it's been going on for like 2 or 3 years
Yeah,
now?
I was about to say that. It's been happening for a while.
Yeah, and it's been like men between the ages of like 21 to like 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they've just been found like in the lake.
And I don't like how they're saying that they're not connected.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
But it's literally men in the same age
in
group.
the same age group and
found in the same lake.
And at the same way, drowned.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God. So like, you know, some people, I don't know if like the police put this statement out, but I know that like people were putting around saying how, you know, like if men, you know, within that age range are like going out, like be careful, you know, go in groups. Literally the same exact thing that they tell women.
Yes.
The same exact thing. Like,
especially in that area, because I know that area is super busy with,
yeah,
like, you know, there's just a lot of life.
Yeah. Whenever my brother went over there, I told him about it. I'm like, dude, be careful.
Yeah.
Stay with your friends.
Yeah.
I was like, and like, you know, just watch like what you drink. because you're basically in that age range.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like, just be careful. He's like, yeah, okay. And like I sent him like the articles. I'm like,
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I would have been.
so
I would have been like stalking him. Like,
I know, but it's because he doesn't share his location with me, and I'm like,
gosh.
oh, and I share my location with him, and I'm like, you're responsible for my life now.
That's funny.
Okay. So mine isn't a case. It's more of a haunted house story. So this is the Kelsey house in Reno, Nevada. This house was built like way back when, like the longest time ago. It is like a Kansas style farmhouse. So like whenever you see like the Wizard of Oz, like the Kansas house, like the little, yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow.
Like that. Yeah. So this house was originally built in Virginia City next to a cemetery, and it was later like moved like 3 times.
Wait, the house?
Yeah, the house.
Oh.
Like they just picked it up and moved it.
Damn. All right.
I don't know. I didn't know that you could do it until I saw pictures. Yeah, like people would literally just pick up houses and like move them.
So up was right.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Shit.
Literally, you can just.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially like old houses. Like I've noticed that like old houses, a lot of people did that a lot. I don't know now if you can do that. But back then, yeah, you could.
Oh.
So the home was a century old when it was lived in the 1980s. People would say that it survived so many years and the 3 moves because of the hauntings. Yeah.
So was it like that not the house per se was haunted? Was it just like was there something that happened in that land, or?
That's the thing. Like, I don't know, because since it was moved 3 times, like the first time that it was built next to a cemetery.
Oh.
So they're thinking that that's where like it stemmed from. And like the more that like it moved, people just think that it survived literally just strictly based because like it was haunted. Like, have you seen ya no me acuerdo cuál casa era, but I think it was the house that the boy, the one that had the exorcism done on him, like that house, whenever the hurricane happened, I really need to look this up again, but I know that it had something to do with like a demonic entity. Whenever a hurricane hit, like that specific house was the only one that survived.
Oh wow.
That tragedy. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like puedes ver fotos, like that house is like standing still.
Oh,
y todas las casas al lado were like torn down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. I know. How do you explain that?
I know.
Girl?
Like what, Luigi? The wind? God.
The wind kept it up?
I know. Anyways.
So the Kelsey family, they bought the house on May 2nd, 1978, literally 100 years to the day after the man who built it died. The family would hear footsteps going up and down the stairs at night, including hearing a dress dragging on the floor. So you know how they have like a distinct like.
Yes. Oh.
The daughter would see a boy and a man at the foot of her bed at night, and the boy would look sad, but then they would both disappear. The family would hear footsteps walking into the daughter's room, and after the daughter felt her bed levitating, they called the man, who was a medium, to look at the house. He communicated with the man named Samuel and described him as a sailing man with a mustache. He said he was only there to protect the little girl. The medium then asked him to stop scaring the family, and he agreed, but never left. After that day, the little girl didn't see Samuel in her room, but would tell her mom that she thinks that he was in the attic, 3 years passed, and they sold the home, moving to another house.
Oh. So they sold that one, and then they just...
Yes.
Oh, I wonder if...
But they moved to a house like literally close by, so they just moved down a bit. So the family like now had like 2 more kids, um, and they leased that old house. So that old house, like, you know, it was theirs, but they just decided to like rent it out. One day, the mom was taking pictures of her baby to use up the rest of her roll, like, you know, the film, the little disposable cameras. Yeah. Oh. After she had them develop, the first photo in this stack was of a man with a mustache. She had assumed she might have gotten someone else's photos by accident, but then she kept looking through the rest and saw that they were actually hers. She then remembered that her daughter would tell her about Samuel and how her daughter believed that Samuel moved in with them whenever they had moved. She hadn't believed her daughter, so whenever she saw the photo, that was her sign confirming that Samuel did follow them.
Yeah, that happens. They get attached to.
Yeah. But it's crazy how, like, and I saw the photo. Like, if you can actually look it up, like, yeah,
we'll post it on Instagram.
We'll post it. Like, sí aparece like a man, like literally with a mustache, like a tall man, and it's kind of, you know, comforting that he wasn't a bad entity. And like, this story is actually on Unsolved Mysteries, like on the actual show, like back then. So a lot of people, you know, like, were really intrigued, and obviously in these types of stories, obviously still now, but even more back then, because it wasn't really like heard of. Like, you know, you'd be considered crazy if you believe in that. Still now, but like now you have more people backing you up. Yeah. Yes. So the photo and their story was in the paper for anyone in the city to see and verify if they knew the man in the photo. An expert looked at the photo to check its authenticity. He concluded it was a photo taken of a TV screen. The mother denies the claims that it was a picture taken of the TV. So they had assumed that, you know, that she had taken the picture like from the TV, I see. But like, whenever she was saying, she's like, no, like, there's like, the camera has a flash.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it would have.
Yeah, it would have reflected it. Yeah, but you know, there's always gonna be skeptics.
Yeah, especially always. Back then, like you said, like, you know, Ed and Lorraine got a lot of like hate and stuff.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I feel like they did
a little dramatic.
Yeah,
yes,
but I do believe that there's more.
Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously. I do too. And yeah, it's like, you know, they have evidence and stuff, and I feel like back then was so much harder to, like, you know, like now you can Photoshop anything.
Back then it was like really hard to make stuff up. Yeah. Pues no, girl.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, wait, how do you explain this? You know what I mean?
And it's a disposable camera.
How do you explain like the recordings and the videos? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
How do you tamper with all of that?
Yeah.
Without having like a lot of money or the sufficient supplies to do it. Or, So after that, the Robinson family moved into the home, their old home. Like, they're the ones that started leasing it. They had no clue the house was haunted. Mrs. Robinson would hear footsteps and started creating like her own assumptions that it was paranormal activity. Her husband would be a skeptic, and they would just try to blame it on the house like being old and the plumbing being old too, because it was literally like a century-old house. But whenever their 11-year-old son started experiencing things, they kind of started to believe a little bit more. He would hear walking, banging, and laughing upstairs. He would also experience the front door opening and closing on its own. He had also seen a man in the window just looking at him with a smirk on his face. Their 6-year-old boy got lifted up out of bed one night, and Mrs. Robinson wanted to move out, but Mr. Robinson wouldn't believe her until he started hearing more footsteps. The wife couldn't sleep at night, so she was convinced that they were trying to make her crazy. They finally moved out, and the Kelsey family called in the medium again. The medium said that this time he saw 3 spirits, 2 men and 1 woman. There was no negativity with them, but they just really like to mess with people. He also asked them to leave, so they did. But the other families never moved back. And I feel like there are a lot of like haunted places that create like vortex or like portals. So whenever like there's a haunting, like it kind of invites like other other hauntings to come in, like other spirits to come in. And I feel like that's what happened.
That's how
here.
it is. I feel like that's how it is. Have you watched that one movie? Because what you were just saying right now reminded me of that one movie,
Conjuring.
No. Talk to Me. Have you seen that one?
Oh, de la mano. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, like where they go away, but they're like in this like darkness. Yeah. And they just like go somewhere else. Like they like you just it clearly like calls to them, and they end up going somewhere else, and it can be anywhere around the world and stuff. And that's basically like the movie. Like all these spirits like just go like to like different places.
I'm gonna say something really crazy. Have you seen, like in your dreams, do you dream in color or black and white?
I've done both.
Yeah. So black and white means spirits. Yeah. And to be honest, like I never realized that until I started watching this one medium. And she said that like she was explaining like how she sees spirits. She says that she doesn't see them in color. She sees them in black and white. And I was just like,
you think that makes a lot of sense?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like this, like we were just talking about how I'm seeing something.
Yeah.
And it's in black.
Yeah.
And it's always been in black.
Yeah. So también like ahorita que dijiste like that they go like into like a darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I know. Do you think that's like that's how we perceive the spirit realm?
That's what I was thinking.
Because like maybe the way that we see like outside, like the sunlight is in blue, but you know, we know that the stars are right there.
Yeah.
And maybe like the spirit realm doesn't look black, but that's how we perceive it. Like that's how we see it. And that's how we see spirits también, like in black and white.
Yeah.
Because like if I dream of like, you know, my family members and stuff, I see them in color. But like if I see like something or someone that I don't know, I'll see them in black and white. Like literally como una película en black and white.
Yep. Yes. Just like that.
Yeah.
I've also had dreams where I'm somewhere, like at a house, or like I've been like in a library before.
Yeah.
And it's nothing but in black. And then it's funny too, because I clearly, I guess in my dream, I noticed that everything is black and white. I'll even like look at myself.
Yeah. Are you in black and white?
I'm in black and white.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like whenever I've looked at myself, I've never seen myself in black and white. I've always seen myself like in color.
Don't say that. Because I've seen myself in black and white.
That might be you lucid dreaming. Like, así como en series, you know how like the kid goes? Yeah. Like
probably. That. Maybe. And you know what? That makes sense, because I feel like I realize I am dreaming.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I clearly am aware that I'm somewhere that I don't know. Yeah. And I'm always by myself.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I lucid dream, I never look at my hand. I never look at my skin.
I look at like this.
Oh, shit.
Like it's weird. Like, you know, like those movies that you see where it's like from the point of view. Yeah. That's how I always see. Mm-hmm. That's how I always see. But like you said, when I dream in black and white, it's like I can see
you see yourself.
I see myself.
Yeah.
But whenever it's the black and white, it's just like my point of view.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Yeah. Like the other day, and I don't know if she watches this. If she does, hello, Tali. But the other day, literally a week ago, she came to my dream and she told me that I needed to welcome Jesus into my life. And I was like, what? Yeah. Oh, shit. She's like, hola, Dianita. You know, like the way that she talks. Yeah. And then she's like, you just need to accept Jesus in your heart and your life. And I was like, what?
What the heck?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's just like,
And it's something that you can't, you think about, right?
yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
just like, and like, sometimes like whenever I can't tell if I'm dreaming, I wake up exhausted. Like if I'm doing something in my
Mhm.
dream, I wake up exhausted, and it's not until like it feels real, up until I'm like, wait, this is weird, and then in my head I'm like, no, this is a dream. Like I try not to say it out loud. I think I've only said it out loud once.
I've said it loud, and it woke me up.
Really?
Yeah. I woke myself up.
Have you seen those stories of like people saying that whenever they tell themselves that they're whenever they say out loud that they're dreaming, that like everybody around them in their dream like starts going after them?
It gets loud.
Yeah.
It gets really loud. And I wake up and I like look around and like Luigi's like fast asleep.
Oh my god.
And I'm just like, and it takes me a minute and I go, okay. And I lay back down.
The one time, like literally the only time that I said that I was dreaming, it was like last year during my depression era.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling myself, no, like I'm gonna take control of my life, because I was experiencing really weird things in my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So like that day, I remember like something was like talking to me, and I screamed at that person. It was a woman, and I screamed at her, and I told her, no, this is my dream,
Mm-hmm.
and I will control it, and you will do what I say.
Mm-hmm.
Like I screamed at her, and then she just looked at me like, she's like, okay, yeah,
Like,
yeah, but like nothing else happened. And like whenever I woke up, like I still kept dreaming,
yeah.
and like whenever I woke up, I was like, I'm scared now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did I just do?
Mm-hmm. Another thing that's crazy, like my dreams, like, and it's, I don't know, it's like I said, majority of the time I'm in a library.
You bookworm.
I'm not reading. Oh, I'm just there. And then I've also been like, kind of like, you know, like Alice in Wonderland, when she goes inside this cave, like that little hole, and you're just walking around.
Oh yeah.
Like that. But it's weird because it's like black. And then there's always this light, and I never reach it. And I've had
Girl.
this. Yes, it's weird.
That sounds like a vortex.
I don't know, girl. It's scary. It's like I feels like a maze. Like it's like, and like the closer I get to it, como que se estira.
Yeah.
And I've had like these
Oh,
thoughts,
like Coraline?
oh, I guess I didn't think about that either. Because I picture like como pero como it's dirt. It's like a hole,
Yeah.
like this hole, and I'm just like crawling.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I can't explain it. I even tried doing my tarot cards, and it's not getting me anything.
He's like, give me an explanation.
Yeah.
The only time that I've like dreamt about like crawling in a tunnel, I was like in ¿cómo se llama? It was, sí, sabes como esos juegos de kids, you know, like in fast food restaurants, like where you crawl and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that, but it was bigger. Like it was much bigger, like adult size.
Yeah.
Like it was huge, and I was like crawling through there, and like, you know, but that's it. But no, like what you're explaining sounds like a vortex. Like you're trying to get through, you know, to like the spirit realm.
I know, something's not letting me.
Like, the fact that you're still living.
Yeah, I know. I know. Shit.
Girl.
I know, that's scary.
That is. Don't follow the light.
Don't follow it. I'm like crawling towards it.
You said, let me see it. Oh no.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god.
I know.
Girl.
But yeah.
So this is gonna be like the last one.
Oh, okay.
This is called the third man syndrome. So speaking of like consciousness. I can't say that word.
Conscious.
Y'all know what we mean.
And I was saying it the way you said it.
Oh,
But it feels like it's right, but it doesn't. You know.
Yeah, I'm about to ask Siri. I'm gonna be
I
like,
hate when that happens.
yeah.
Like I was before you start. It's just so random. I was writing the word size, SIZE, and when I was looking at it, it didn't look right.
You said that's not right.
I'm like, that's not right. And then I'm like, I should know this.
I do the same thing too.
Anyway, sorry.
Consciousness. There we go.
Okay. It sounded right the first time you said it.
Oh no.
You're probably right.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is called the third man syndrome. And this is explained as whenever you're having like a near death experience, you see and hear someone after an accident, and you can actually like feel them. So like you can see them, you can hear them, you can feel them, like if they were an actual person there with you. So an example of this, I'm gonna be telling a few stories, and these are actually true. There are a lot of these actually, but I'm just gonna be telling a few. A woman was driving one night and had a car accident with her baby in the back. The car was hidden in the trees so no one could see it. A couple drove by the same road and saw a woman with blood on her clothes. So they turned around to help. Whenever they went back to the area that she was, they didn't see her anymore. So whenever they got out of the car, they saw like down like into the woods, and they saw a car, and they walked over to see like what had happened, because it looked like it was a car accident. Whenever they looked inside the car, they saw a baby in the back seat and the mother in the front. Like she was in the front seat. And they believe that was, like the mother kind of like flagging for help to like save the baby, because the baby was still alive.
Yeah.
Another story about that, and like this one, like actual paramedics heard. They were like responding to a call, like a car accident, like somebody had actually like seen it and called it in. And I guess like it was catching fire, like the car was catching fire. And like you know how like the police, like they have a camera on them, yeah. So, and you can actually hear like the mom saying, help, we're in here, help. And whenever like they went to go look, they're like, it's okay, ma'am, like we're coming, we're getting you out. She's like, my baby. And like they see the baby, they get the baby out, and like they're still trying to talk to the lady. They're like, okay, ma'am, we got your baby, we're trying to get you out. Whenever they like
the baby out,
after they got the baby out, they were trying to get the mom out. She had already been dead for a while.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And like that's something that they can't explain, and like that was on an actual like
Damn.
report. Yeah, I know.
Oh, so sad.
I've noticed that like a lot of moms have that, because speaking of like mothers leaving signs, do you remember the Watts family? So during like the Watts family investigation, there's a video, like, I mean, the camera like off the police, whenever like they were investigating and like asking questions, they went to like the neighbor's house to like ask the neighbor questions. And it's on Netflix and YouTube. Chris Watts, he's standing next to like the TV of like the neighbors. And like, as like they're asking the neighbors questions, there's a commercial going on, and it's of a fetus and a skull with an oil dripping on it. Y si te acuerdas, like where he threw
at his job.
And like you can literally like see him like turning and like looking at the TV.
Oh hell,
and then turning away, and like his face is like
damn.
I know, girl. That house, like the investigation and like the police recordings, like you can hear like what people think is her voice, mom. And like the kid's voice, or like the kid's spirits running around and walking around, y aparecen igual así como tú dijiste, like a black shadow, like yeah.
It's so sad.
It is.
That case is so sad.
That man, dude, that
and it's just so sad. Like I don't mean to interrupt you or anything, but when you see like those type of cases where it's like you're seeing it happen, like you see like the last of of her going inside the house and you just want to yell, don't go in,
Yeah.
don't go in.
The worst part was like learning how he what he did to his daughters. Like it's
especially because they loved him.
They loved him, they trusted him.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, that's my daddy. Like,
that's my hero.
Yeah, that's a person who's gonna protect me always. And then like, I don't know.
I just never understand. I will never understand why they think that's just
the way out.
The way out. If you want to leave, leave.
Yeah, literally.
Like, if you want to be with this other woman, go.
Girls, like, don't even get me started on that.
I know she's another one, but I mean that's a whole episode.
Yeah.
But
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yes. No.
It's horrible.
Respects to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another story of the third man syndrome was of a mountain climber in 1983. Him and his friend, so it was just the two of them, like they were climbing a snowy mountain, and his friend and him were crushed by an avalanche.
Oh.
He was knocked out and like hurt, obviously, like he was severely injured, but his friend, like he didn't make it, like he passed away. Whenever he regained consciousness, he remembered he started remembering like where he was, and he felt like broken bones in his body. He had already accepted his fate until he heard a voice tell him to stand up and start walking. And, you know, that kind of made him like say, okay, like I can go ahead and get up. He got up, mind you, like he was most likely like frostbitten. He was in pain because like a lot of his bones in his body were broken. But regardless, like he got up, he started walking, and the voice, he said that the voice stayed on his right side like the entire time. It would tell him to get his water bottle and make arrows in the snow with his blood so that other hikers and skiers can locate him. As he was walking back to where they had set up camp before they had started their hike, he couldn't get into his sleeping bag or light the stove because of his broken bones. He again thought he was going to die. And once the sun went down, because then, you know, like it gets even freezing, and there was no way for him to like cover himself up or warm himself up. He then heard the voices of like skiers, and the voice next to him told him to yell for help. He did, but he wasn't sure if the skiers had heard him. The voice that was next to him then left, so he thought that meant that he was, you know, like dying.
Yeah.
The skiers then found him and got him help. He thinks that the voice left him because it knew that he was going to be okay then.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yes. But a lot of people say that, like a lot of people that have been like in accidents say that like somebody pulled them out of like the wreckage, or somebody was like, hey, it's okay, like stay conscious, like help is coming for you.
This is not their time.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, like you're right, I'm coming out. Yeah. Damn, I know. And that's
crazy.
Yeah, that's something that like it can't be like
you can't explain that.
No, like a lot of people, you know, logically speaking, they're like, oh no, like it's your subconscious like trying to comfort you. But like, how do you explain somebody being pulled out of a wreckage? You can't. Yeah. Damn. Especially like with broken bones and shit. Girl. Yeah.
Man.
But that concludes our
first episode, our first Halloweeny. First Halloweeny episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I liked it. I like this one because it's kind of like, you know, it's like a little bit of everything. I love it.
It was true crime, haunted houses, and just more unexplained phenomena.
Yeah. Really, it really was.
Yeah. But what do y'all think?
Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you guys believe? Do you guys not believe? Do you guys think it's something else?
Do you guys think it's the wind?
Luigi. But we'll see you guys next time. Bye.